She broke my heart right from the start.
Hey everyone, welcome to the MANTHOLOGY Show. Blake here. Joining me here in a moment, we'll bring him right in the listener booth, is Josh and Derek. In today's episode, favorite junk foods, mechanic shenanigans, bucket list adventures, hunting, and new music. Josh, Derek, it is so nice to have you in the studio today.
Oh, I hope your man levels are cranked to 11 because it's about to get manly in here.
Fella, this booth stinks a little. What that smell is.
I turned it up to 11 a little early. I apologize.
Nonetheless, it's good to be here.
The booth probably stinks a little, Josh, because I've been munching on my favorite junk foods, and there's wrappers strewn all out of this place.
That's nothing manlier than poor dietary choices.
Poor dietary choices. That's what it's about being a man.
Yep.
So we wanted to have in this episode, the fourth episode of the MANTHOLOGY Show, we wanted to have our next food talk discussion, and in this one, I wanted to focus in on junk foods. Now, let's lay down the ground rules. I wouldn't consider. I'm after processed stuff that are scientifically engineered to have the perfect ratio of sugars, fats, and salts that just make you go nutty.
Of course.
And you can't. So pizza and like even even like ice cream. You can buy like Breyer's delicious ice cream that just has cream, sugar, and milk. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to consider that a junk food because they're not engineering the salts and whatnots and that. So we're going after processed junk foods. Fair enough?
Yeah.
The harder the better.
Although I gotta say, Blake, it's 2016. I don't feel like junk foods is an appropriate term. That it's a little bit offensive. I think to those foods.
What is the PC definition for this?
I think the PC something for junk foods. The 2016 version would be like dietarily ambiguous. Dietarily, I don't know. The point is, they're not junk. Like, no food is junk.
Okay, we don't want to offend. We don't want to offend junk food.
Let's keep their feelings in mind.
Let's do. So we could do.
Junk foods get a trophy too, Blake.
Nutritionally light foods.
Nutritionally deficient foods.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So, fellas, I'm going to turn the mic. I'm going to give the conch over to you. I'm all excited to talk about my ideas. I'm just trying to cheat, and we'll start it there, but then I'll just dominate this discussion later. But let's start with you first.
Derek, what do you got? I'm curious. I'm curious what Derek thinks is junk food and what his favorite one is.
Well, I mean, according to you guys, 90% of my diet is probably junk food.
Cereal.
I mean, I live on a steady. I run on cereal and hamburgers most of the time.
So when you really splurge, when you go out and you're like, all right, here we go. What do you go for?
Well, for me, it's more about setting. Like if I'm at a baseball game, I'll just throw. I don't care. I'm eating everything. And that's usually, here's the thing. I really like salty junk foods. Okay. Not as big into the sweet stuff, but I will eat bags and bags of Cracker Jack. I'm big on chips and salsa.
Wait, hold on. I got to stop you, though. I love the chips and salsa, but we got to go back to Cracker Jacks. That's not salty in my mind. That's sweet, delicious, caramelized.
Yeah, but see, to me, caramel kind of toes the balance. Caramel exists in that
both.
Yeah, that nebulous region. That nebulous region between sweet and salty, where there's just most of the.
Where your brain just doesn't know what to do with it.
Right.
Except eat more of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like most of what we've achieved as a species lies directly in that zone between salty and
the caramel zone.
Yeah, in the caramel zone. But yeah, a big fan of potato chips as well. Especially, I really like salt and vinegar potato chips. The more bitter, if they make my mouth numb, they could be a little more bitter.
Yeah.
So I'm really into that. But yeah, I've kind of lost my taste for candy as I've gotten older and really moved toward the salty stuff.
Says the cereal lover. I mean, you've offended my inner child by saying that. You've offended me.
Damn you, sir. If you want to turn this into breakfast cereal part 2, that's fine. I'm trying to be
we're not going there.
Because you could get me hot again.
Hot and bothered. Josh, what about you? You got some favorite junk foods? Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah. So I sort of abide by the cheat day or one cheat meal a week type thing. So I'll be honest, when I decide to pull that pin, it can get pretty ugly. Typically on a Friday night or a Saturday or something. Candy-wise, I'm going to go with hot tamales. And
Wow.
I will send you all my uneaten hot tamales. I'll just put them in a box for you.
I just sit there and chew on them until my mouth
Sweat.
is it's just my jaw hurts. I'm just aching, but I'm not going to stop because I'm a man. And then polish them off with some nice peanut M&Ms.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, but for the
Josh, have you had the dark peanut M&Ms? Dark chocolate peanut M&Ms.
No, but I'm not a dark chocolate fan.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I want the more synthetic, crappy chocolate.
Okay.
But for a main course, if I'm going to pull the pin that night, it's probably going to be some really crappy pizza, and I'm really embarrassed to say this, but here we go, Taco Bell. I
love Taco Bell.
Guys, I could buy it by the poundful. It all tastes the same. They just wrap it differently.
I know.
If I could just go into it like a buffet or something, they just weighed the tray afterwards. I might as well just buy it by the pound because I'll just keep ordering stuff until I see the number, the amount that I owe up to where I think, yeah, that feels about right. And then I'll just pull forward in the drive-thru. So it gets pretty nasty.
That's hard. I love the taco. Well, it's funny. I went several years, I don't know how, but I forgot the border.
Yeah.
I failed to cross the border. Probably, interestingly, in my late 20s, early 30s. Josh, me and you grew up on Taco Bell. Derek,
Right.
you probably did as well. That's a very American thing to do, I'm guessing, for at least the teenagers and the single guys.
I was never a fan, to be honest.
All right, I respect that. I respect that, but so I got on a recent kick, Taco Bell. I'm with you on that, Josh, but the one thing at the Taco Bell that really gets me going, and this is kind of a blast from the past, and it even has blast in the name, so that's like blast processing. Like this
they
legit.
nailed it.
Yes,
I know where you're going with this.
It's Baja Blast. Have you guys had that?
No, I haven't.
No one's had Baja Blast then, Derek?
Is it like a drink?
I feel like I'm a complete nerd that I know this. What Baja Blast is.
I feel like I had some in like the late 90s whenever it was having Baja Blast.
No. I think it wasn't invented. Maybe it was. But Baja Blast is the Taco Bell exclusive flavor of Mountain Dew, which is another 90s blast from the past. But so, see, I don't like Mountain Dew any longer, but the Baja Blast is it's like a not as lemony, it's a more limey, less sweet version of Mountain Dew, and I love the extra lime. It's delicious.
Interesting.
Baja Blast. But I love I don't typically drink sodas. Like, I'll go weeks at a time. I'm a big water man. I don't think that's very manly, but it's good for my health, so I do it. But
water's great.
the one thing that I can't, I went to a buddy's house and we were watching a game, and he brought some cream soda. He's like, "Hey, Blake, you want a cream soda?" I was like, well, "Of course I want a cream soda." And so, everyone pops their lid. It was IBC, delicious. It's like the official cream soda of heaven. It's just delicious. And so everyone pops it open, and I didn't notice, like, subconsciously, I'm like, "Oh, that tastes good." And then I look at my bottle, and it's gone. And everyone else is still on their first or second swigs. I'm like, oh, I should have probably been more...
Well, I'm the fat kid here. Okay.
More reserved in my consumption. I don't... Yeah. So, cream soda. One of my all-time favorites. I don't know what your guys' opinion on this. Fellas, I can destroy a family-sized bag of Cheetos. No problemo.
Yeah. Cheetos are good. I mean, I think they're second against Doritos.
Nope. I think they beat Doritos in a powdered cheese fight.
Stop it. There's no
Derek,
Cool Ranch Cheetos. What are you, crazy?
Derek, can I get some backup here? Where do you fall on this line?
Never a fan of the Cheetos.
Holy cannoli. But Doritos. You like the Doritos.
Doritos are okay. Never a huge fan of them either.
My goodness, what
I
are
know.
you guys?
I'm just a contrarian today.
Are you just a straight, boring Lay's potato chip guy?
No, I just like,
You like the salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar. Okay.
That's the thing. I like flavors that punish me. Like my favorite candies are like the sour punch straws and the nuclear warhead sour stuff. I like to be in pain. I like to just put myself through hell as I'm eating this junk food because I feel like
hate yourself and you want your food to punish you. I get
correct.
it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of psychological stuff involved there too. We don't have time to get into, but yeah, I like my flavors to be very, very abrasive.
Now I'm just a straight salt or sweet. Like I love the Skittles or the freaking super salty Nathan hot dogs. I can pound 3 of those. Yeah. No problem.
Well, you know what I like candy wise. I like really old candy too that they don't make anymore.
Like a bit of honeys, like a bit of honey.
Yeah, I like a bit of honey. I like there used to be candy in the 80s called Bonkers that I really liked.
Oh, I remember Bonkers. Yeah,
remember Bonkers were great. I like my favorite candy now is probably Necco wafers.
Never heard of it. What?
I'll buy a package of Necco wafers and demolish them.
I think those are straight out of the late 1800s, I believe.
Correct.
Are they
As most good things are.
So do you like the assorted hard candy that you find at your grandparents' house that's been sitting in the dish since, I don't know, years prior?
The great thing about assorted is that there's a lot of variety there. So some of them aren't any good, but it's assorted.
They're all stuck together and they're individually wrapped and
it's like the Jurassic Park of candy. You got to go in with a chisel. You got to take a brush. You got to be very gentle or you'll crack the candy. But once you get it out, you make great discoveries.
It's the ultimate. It's like the ultimate business acumen meets candy. It's like, just throw some of this crap in there. They're gonna eat it anyway. It'll save us money.
Where's all the stuff swept up from the floor? Put it back through again. We'll call it assorted. Sell our scraps.
Well, we may just turn this into the entire food talk junk food episode. I'm kidding, of course. But if any listeners out there want to chime in with their favorite junk foods, preferably the processed stuff that comes out of a bag or you have to open some form of plastic to get to said foods, tweet us at Manthology Show or send us an email, men@manthologyshow.com.
Blake, nutritionally challenged, please.
Oh, sorry. My apologies, sir. Gentlemen, this is something that this next topic we're moving to is, again, just straight out of the controversy file, is loathed by so many, perhaps misjudged by many more. We're of course talking about car mechanics, and we want to have the final say once and for all right here. Are they good or are they bad?
All right, I'll go. Here's the thing. When it comes to knowledge of cars and automobiles, this is where I feel at my most inadequate and lowest level on the man scale.
Yeah.
I know, gas, oil, I can read
and metal. There's metal in there too, right? Those are the 3 things. Steel,
that
gas,
list
and
was
oil.
really short, actually.
Okay, it was. I'll be honest, I lied about a couple of those, but nonetheless. So, yeah, when it comes to that, I have no idea. So, I've always hated taking my car to the mechanic because I always feel like I'm getting reamed. This was up until a few years ago, and then I finally found, I was fortunate enough to find 2, I will call them angels, gentlemen. They are angels in grease and oil. I have 2 good mechanics that I can trust, and I'm glad to take my car there, and I don't feel like I'm getting reamed, and they will take the time to explain things to me, but not like in a condescending way, like, yeah, come here, Nancy, this is what I fixed, this is how much it is. So, yeah, there are a lot of bad mechanics out there, but I say one pro tip in life is you got to find at least one trustworthy mechanic that you can rely on.
Yeah.
Well said.
It's interesting. Derek? It's interesting you bring up how they ream you out because, as you well know, Blake, the word mechanic is derived from the ancient Sumerian mechanica, which is actually what it means is condescending father is what the word mechanic
Oh,
means.
really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
Look that up.
That?
Yeah, because every time I go to the mechanic, I feel like my dad is yelling at me. They will let you know everything you're doing wrong, even if you didn't ask. And if you tell them you didn't know something that they're asking about, there's this like incredulous look that they give you. And, I can't stand it. And the
Like
mom,
Seinfeld's mechanic, right? Like
it's
he just
exactly
guilted
like
him. Yeah.
that. Oh, it's exactly like that. And they do like. I feel like mechanics know so much more, not only about cars, but about being a man than I do. So when I go in there, I'm just immediately uncomfortable. I don't know where to put my hands. I don't know how to stand. I don't even really know how to articulate what's wrong with my car without sounding like a mancy. And you know, and first off, I go in with like a Ninja Turtle T-shirt and my long hair, so just right off the bat, it's awkward right off the bat, and it goes downhill straight from there. It's rough. I do not enjoy going to the auto garage at all.
I feel like that's a good point, Derek. I would say I feel like mechanics are if you could, or at least the reputation of mechanics, are a microcosm of the world. There is good and bad. And I was reminded of this recently. My family were rolling into Vegas. We took the kids there because who doesn't take their kids to Vegas?
Of course.
We took the kids to Vegas to all the resorts and everything. And we are 30 miles, no, not even that, probably 15 miles outside of Vegas. And I hear the ding, and I hate hearing that ding.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the check engine, or not? It wasn't the check engine, but that ding. It's like, bong, you're like, oh no, what's this gonna lead to? This is gonna turn into an ordeal. And I got the kids in the car, and it's hot, and all right, what am I gonna do? So it's like, you know,
You're at a Baja Blast.
Yeah, I'm at a Baja Blast. The freaking Cheetos are gone. So we're rolling in, and it's like air pressure diminishing, you know, because now all the cars are fancy, and it's like, bling, bling, bling. I'm like, so I'm getting all nervous, and oh, gee, tire pressure's going down. You know, I was like, maybe I can make it into town. So, because it was low, but it wasn't like pull over low. At least it didn't warn me of that. I don't know if my car even does that, but I was just going to go with it anyway. So I'm booking it into Vegas, pull in. It's like 4:59. The guy's shop's going to close. He's looking at me. I pull in. He's like, sorry, we're closed. And I'm like, oh, man, like my tire, I hit some. I'm from out of town. And he's like, sorry, dude, you're going to have to wait. It's like, I can't get to my hotel. You know, he's like, and then he stops. And he looks at me, he's like, wheel it around back. Let me see what I can do for it. And I wheel it around back, and it, you know, ran over some nail, and he takes care of it. And I was like, how much do I owe you? He's like, it's $5. I was like, well, let me pay you 20. It's like, no, it's $5. It's not that big of a deal. I'm happy. I was like, no, you just totally say me. I'm willing to pay extra. Thank you for your kindness and your service. And he's like, no, just do it. So that changed me. And I was like, is there anything I can do? And he's like, you know, just write a review on Yelp, and I'm happy. And I wrote the best review I've ever written of any human being in my life of this guy on Yelp. I forget his name. It was last year that happened. But awesome. I think mechanics, there can be goodness, but I've been screwed too. So
yeah, I mean, you want to talk about who really holds the power in this country? I mean, who really holds it all? It's mechanics, man.
It's mechanics.
I mean, they do, yeah.
Well, it is. It gets to the core of what this show is. I mean, we're talking about how, you know, our deficiencies in manliness. It's because so many of us have that mechanics exist. You know, it used to be that we just knew how to fix our cars. But in the absence of that, so rose the mechanics.
Yeah. But here's the interesting thing that mechanics...
That's what I'm going to tell him next time. I'm like, look, man, be glad, okay? Because if it wasn't for people like me, people like you wouldn't have
You'd be out of a job.
Yeah.
You'd be out of a job. Yeah.
It's funny, like, I mean, honestly, like, I've gotten to where, like, you got to kind of know your audience. And Derek, when you were talking about how you walk in there and you've got your hair and your Ninja Turtle shirt on, like, I think about that stuff ahead of time. So, like, I'm not joking when I tell you guys this. I live in the South. So at a young age, I learned how to use different dialects and different variations of a Southern accent to sort of play to the audience.
So you put it on for the mechanic.
I do, man. So I go in there. This mechanic, one of them in particular, He's like Boomhauer to the extreme in terms of like he talks real fast and he mumbles and I can't really understand. Like I get like every fifth or sixth word and that's it. So I just go in there and I lay it on thick, man. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't even know where to begin, man. This whole thing, man, just run over there. And just
shucks, man. I don't know.
And then he'll respond, and I'll be like, yeah, man, so just whatever, you know. And I just lay it on real thick. I'm telling you, when in Rome, you got to talk to him like that. And so that's been one thing that helps me out. That, and then also, since I'm not a man, I'm not above blaming it all on my wife.
Yes.
And I'll act like we have two cars. I'll act like they're both my wife. Like whichever one I'm taking in, like, yeah, this is my wife. I'm not sure. She was complaining about some noise. And then I'm sure he sees right through that, though.
You know how
this advice is for a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
it's so weird that you would say that, though, because I find myself in those uncomfortable situations reflexively blaming her that I don't feel like he'll ask, do you want me to fix something that needs fixed? And I'll go, well, I better call the boss first, see what she has to say. You know, she makes the decisions, and he'll go, yeah. You know what? It's like that's part of it is like, I just reflexively revert to that.
Yeah. So it's funny.
Okay, we got to move on, gentlemen. Wilson's pointing to me; he's looking at me awkward, so we're gonna roll with it. We'll get it going. Now, as you guys know, part of the show it's a talk show first and foremost, and we're very grateful for our early patrons and listeners and supporting us. It made us feel all warm and fuzzy. We got a long way to go to hit our goals, but we're still in it to win it, and we're excited to get there. But one thing we wanted to do once we start meeting our goals are field trips, Derek. Epic field trips.
Yeah. Boy, am I excited about that.
Derek, Josh, the epic field trips, right? This is an integral part for the. Yeah, I'm excited for the inaugural field trip whenever we can make that happen. So, as kind of a setup and tease for that, we wanted to talk today about, in your opinion, what constitutes an epic field trip or a bucket list travel adventure?
That's a good one.
With me, so I travel a lot, and the one thing that I do is I just pick a place, and I find that every place I've chosen, even if it doesn't seem touristy or like there's a lot of stuff to do there, I'm never bored. I think just going places that are different and new, that's inherently epic in experiencing new things. There's always something new to experience that's different from your experience. And I find that to be the most epic thing about travel and field trips.
Well said.
Yeah,
that reminds me of, and I think what the reason it makes you epic, or the traveler epic, is it reminds me of that great Mark Twain quote. Are either of you familiar with this on travel?
No.
He says, this is great. This may be one of the greatest comments or commentary on travel. He says, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all one's lifetime.
God is
that quote. Yeah, no, I know that. I thought you meant his other travel
quote. Yeah. So, Josh, what about you? Anything come to mind? Like, is there something you've circled on your bucket list or that's high on the priority list? Like, that would just be a really fun male-based or, more skewed on the male interest side of trips.
Do you mean for the show or just in general life?
In general. Could be for the show, but just in general.
One of my big bucket list trips is Japan. And I think that goes back to, of course, when I was a kid. Obviously, I wanted to be a ninja at some point.
Oh, of course.
So, of course. So, I've always wanted to go to Japan. So that's one of the big bucket list trips for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. I want to go there too. That's high on my list. But basically, just because I've heard that, everything I've read is like Japan is. Or I have a friend that lived there for a while, and he's like, it's like bizarro world for humanity.
Yeah.
At least Western thought. And you can't understand the language. You can't even understand the letters. There's flashing lights. It's loud. People cut in line. There's just a different freaking set of rules that he says it's like probably one of the most foreign places a Western person can.
Plus,
travel
I feel like I'll feel like a giant there, and so that'll do wonders for my ego.
Yeah, that would stroke your ego. That's a nice ego stroke. For me, and I'm actually trying to put one of these together, with some buddies, or maybe my brother-in-law might go. I'm trying to get my bro involved. I just want to do I want to go hike somewhere really long and cool, and not even really backpack, because I'm not that much of a man. I like hotels and beds too much. But if we could just spend all day hiking.
Wrap it up around 5, guys. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. All right, we had our man fun. Then let's go pamper ourselves in a bed. So, but there would be nothing more to me that appeals more to just a bro trip where we're just hiking and talking, shooting the crap the whole trip and having a good time. That's kind of.
Well, I would encourage anyone who's doesn't travel and is thinking about just go, just pick a place and go, and I guarantee you'll have fun. Last year, I went to Roswell, New Mexico, and I went for.
I've been there. You went for the aliens, did you, Derek?
I'm a huge alien nerd, so I wanted to go do all the kitschy alien stuff. But Roswell's this really small town. It's not the kind of place you would go for a week, but I went for a week, and it was the greatest vacation ever. I had so much fun in Roswell, and you rent a car, and we just drove through New Mexico, and there was so much stuff to see and do, and it's stuff that you wouldn't find on a website, or
That state's beautiful,
go,
Derek.
just explore.
That state is beautiful.
It's unbelievable. We went to a lava field, and we went hiking in the White Sands. And
did you do the caves? They're what are the caves down there? The
Carlsbad Caves? The Carlsbad Cavern. We went there.
Cavern. Yeah.
Just unbelievable. And Roswell's sort of central to all these locations.
Yeah.
So it's like a 2-hour drive, but you're in the middle. It's just go places, and that's what's epic.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Sounds
well
fun.
said. Well, I'm excited to go on one with you guys and any patron members out there when we hit our goals, which we will, and it's going to be epic.
Come on, guys. We got some good stuff planned, okay? Let's just be generous with the mouses and the clicks, okay?
It's gonna be fun. It is. We hope it to be epic, and we hope you'll join us on the inaugural Manthology Epic Field Trip someday. Hopefully sooner than later. So, fellas, we already had a little bit of at least the primer for the metal show last episode, so we're not going to go down that road again. But I did hear a track from my youth, the 90s. Never forget. Love the 90s. Blink-182 came out with a new track, and by gall, it's close to their prime time, late 90s, early 2000s. Love it. I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
So you're into the pop punk, are you?
Are you trying to question my masculinity? Or is that what you're doing?
I didn't say anything. If there's some subconscious thing going on where you think that I'm judging, that's
Derek,
your issue.
I'm on to you, Derek. I am totally on to you. Yeah, I like the pop punk. I guess Derek doesn't. Josh, can I get a...
I enjoy some of the pop punk. And I there's a couple of those bands that I like. Blink was one of them. And I did hear that new song the other day, and I was actually a little impressed.
That's what I'm saying. It's not totally there because Tom's not in it, and he had, of course, that great whiny Axl-like voice that we all love and miss. So he's out of the band.
They have a new singer.
Well, no, if
this single, it's got the other Mark
sings on it. So if you're
they got the guy from Alkaline Trio, I think, is playing guitar.
So
yeah, Tom apparently has gone insane.
He's the Axl of the pop punk world, apparently, is what I understand, to keep with the theme. But anyway, it got me excited, and it made me want to ask, and this is something that I probably shouldn't feel inadequate about, but I kind of feel inadequate about how I currently buy music now. I do so. I'm one of those old school MP3 guys that likes to own the MP3. I don't stream, on the Spotifys or whatnot, and I'm feeling kind of old about it.
I love how you think you're the old school guy when I go to record stores daily.
You want to know, but see that? Yeah, that's like retro cool, Derek.
Because I miss buying physical copies of stuff and having that experience of going and flipping through and finding something and purchasing it. I do miss that. I don't have that luxury here. But I guess I fall somewhere in the middle of streaming and buying MP3s. I sort of do a little bit of both.
I guess what made me feel like that, like a while ago, I sent a song to a track. Him a track to a song, or I'm totally messing it up. I just sent him a song or a track, whatever. And I sent it to him, and he's like, "Hey, you got the Spotify link?" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know that was the policy for sharing music these days." So it was kind of like, "What are you doing, sending me this MP3, download?"
Whoa! What's this? What is this? What's this? A file attached to this email?
Yeah, I don't know. So Derek, you're a CD guy. Josh, are you still old school like me? You're buying music then? Digital copies?
I buy some, but I stream most of it. Yeah.
So you're throwing down the $10 on Spotify.
Yeah, I just tried Apple Music, and I don't care for it, so I went back to Spotify. But yeah.
Well,
Hey guys, it's great until your power goes out or your internet. Something happens. So.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's cool. It's funny and cool, and kind of. I think this is one of those things where you haven't grown up until the way people consume music changes, and that's when you know you've reached a milestone in adulthood. And
this is a transition moment. Yeah.
My dad listened to 8-tracks and records. I kind of got the records when I was a little boy, but then it went to cassettes and CDs, and then I finished it off with MP3s, and I'm kind of stuck in the past with that. So I don't know, it's funny. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, this is a topic that really just kind of infuriates me, though, because music is like probably my number one passion in life, and I care so deeply about it, and I just wish other people did, and I really think I want to get shirts made that say Lars was right, because he was absolutely
what a prophet.
Right. People got on Lars as it's this rich guy complaining about a couple people. No, Lars actually had some foresight to see this isn't. Napster wasn't the problem. Today is the problem, where it's not even about people downloading, it's not even about physical media. It's about people devaluing music to the point where it's not even a commodity. It's just something to have on in the background. And, you look at artists that are struggling to make a living and they're not making as much money as they used to. They have to tour just to stay afloat. It's like, Lars was right. When the record industry fell, and listen, it had its evils too, but at least people were buying music. They were paying for the art that they were consuming. Yeah. Now it's kind of a disaster.
I'm with you on that too, Derek. But even for me, like, you're right, the devaluing of music. But sometimes, and I know Josh, you're a big music fan too. It's like I kind of feel like I'm one of the few of my childhood friends that still actively seeks out new music and trying to stay in tune with my favorite music. And sometimes I'm like, am I taking crazy pills? Really, this stuff is awesome. How come more people aren't onto music?
Yeah.
Is how I view it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if some people just let go of certain elements as they get older. But it definitely seems like I know a lot of friends that just aren't into music anymore, which is a shame. And I don't know what causes that.
I mean, I got guys that are still wearing. Friends that are still wearing Big Johnson T-shirts and baggy jeans and Doc Martens and listening to grunge like it never. Oh. And
if they just stay the course, it's going to keep coming back around. So just come on, fellas.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I love that era. Again, 90s, never forget. Love the 90s, but I just think there's so much good stuff out there today that, including fitted jeans and music. I don't know.
I think part of the problem is we're in this post-record industry music world. How do people hear about it? In the past, you had these giant record labels promoting bands and letting everyone know. Like, if you were a metal fan, you had to listen to Iron Maiden. The record label got behind them, and everyone found out about them, and they became gods. They became arena legends, right? Who's the next arena legend? You're not going to get at that level because you have a SoundCloud page, and because you're so many people are streaming you on Spotify. It's a marketing problem as much as it's a consumption problem as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot of factors for that. One just being the entire business model has changed. So I think we've touched on it before. I think the era of the huge arena rock tours are pretty much gone, with the exception of the reunions and then some of the iconic acts that are still around. That they can still do big tours like that. But yeah, I mean, I jokingly said a minute ago it's a transition period, but it really is. Like the way we buy and consume and distribute music is just really changed, and it's I don't know, it's weird to be in the moment.
Yeah, I think what to both your points, certainly yours too, Derek, is like we can't put them on as big as a pedestal as we used to, and I think there's some advantages to that, but at the same time, they're not as godlike or like, they can't galvanize as many people as they used to.
No one, it levels the playing field, but no one breaks out of the pack. Everyone is just at this one level,
Yeah.
Well, muchachos, we've reached the end of our show. Josh, tell them how they can participate.
I gladly will. Guys, first of all, thank you for all your support. And if you want to check us out, go to MANTHOLOGYShow.com to become a patron. You can follow us on Twitter @ManthologyShow, or you can email us at men@ManthologyShow.com.
For Josh and Derek, I'm Blake. Thank you for joining us and listening and spending your day with us. We hope you join us right here. We hope you join us again right here next time on the Manthology Show.